Prime Field.
34 wins, 0 losses, an average margin of victory of 38 points. UConn hasn't just been winning games this season, they've been erasing teams. But here's the question nobody can stop arguing about heading into March Madness 2026. Is this the most dominant women's basketball team in history, or the most untested number 1 seed in tournament history? Because UCLA has 19 quad 1 wins. Texas has beaten every team in this field. South Carolina has been to 7 of the last 10 Final Fours. And UConn? UConn has played 9 quad 1 games all season. So today we're breaking down the Huskies' starting 5 against every other Hash 1 seed, player by player, stat by stat. And we're giving you a real answer. Now let's get into it. What is up, Prime Field? If you're new here, we do one thing. We take the hottest debates in women's basketball and we settle them with receipts. And this bracket, this is the most loaded Hash 1 seed conversation we have ever had on this channel. Here's the roadmap. First, we're building the case for UConn because yes, the case is real. Then we're stress testing that case against UCLA's numbers, Texas's resume, and South Carolina's pedigree. After that, we're doing the head-to-head matchup breakdown you actually came here for. And finally, I'm giving you my prediction, and I want yours in the comments before you even finish this video. Clock's running, let's go. Let's start with the argument that wins the room. UConn scores 88.8 points per game, second in the entire country. They allowed just 50.4 points per game, the best scoring defense in America. 29 consecutive wins by double digits. They trailed at halftime exactly once this entire season. This is a historically ridiculous basketball team. Now Sarah Strong, sophomore forward, consensus National Player of the Year, 18.5 points, 7.5 boards, 4 assists, and get this, 3.4 steals per game, on 60% shooting from the field. Gino Auriemma said it best. There's an aura that she has where it never appears that she's in a rush. Everything she does just seems to flow from a place where the game is like in her soul. That's not hype. That's a head coach describing something you genuinely cannot coach. Then you got Azzi Fudd on the other wing, projected number 1 pick in the 2026 WNBA draft. She tore her ACL in 2023, came back, won Final Four MOP last year, and chose to return for one final run. She's shooting 44.6% from 3, has knocked down 104 threes this season, second nationally, and it's hitting 95% from the free throw line. Azzi Fudd in the clutch is not a debate. It's a fact. KK Arnold runs the point. Ashlyn Shade gives you length and toughness. Sarah Williams, the Wisconsin transfer, has been a 2-time All-Big Ten anchor in the paint. And off the bench, freshman Blanca Quinones, who came from professional leagues in Europe, by the way, is averaging nearly 10 points as a 6th man. Nate Silver's model rated UConn's composite score at 2684. For context, he compared it to Magnus Carlsen's Chess LO. That's the level of dominance we're talking about. So yeah, the case for UConn is overwhelming until you zoom out. Let me be very direct with you. If you sleep on these 3 programs, you will lose your bracket and your argument. UCLA made the strongest statistical case for the overall 1 seed and didn't get it. 19 quad 1 wins. 18-0 in the Big Ten, the first undefeated conference season in league history. Lauren Betts became the first player in Big Ten history to win Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. The Bruins' offensive rating of 122.2 is number 1 in the nation. Their entire starting lineup is projected as first-round WNBA picks. Let that sink in. The committee chair literally said the decision between UConn and UCLA was a close vote. UCLA's schedule strength ranked number 1 nationally. UConn's ranked 53rd. Texas might actually be the scariest team in this field. Madison Booker, 18.9 points, 6.5 rebounds, shooting 61% in the SEC tournament where she was named MVP. Texas opened the SEC championship game against South Carolina on a 14-0 run and won 78-61. They also beat UCLA 76-65 earlier this season. Texas is the only team that has beaten both other number 1 seeds this year. The only one. And then there's South Carolina. Dawn Staley, 3 national championships, 7 of the last 10 Final Fours. This is their 6th consecutive year as a number 1 seed. They lost Chloe Kitts and Ashlyn Watkins to ACL tears before the season even started, and still went 15, 1 in the SEC regular season. After losing the SEC final to Texas, Staley said, "The last time we lost in this situation, we won a national championship." If you've watched March Madness for more than 5 minutes, you know that's not a throwaway quote. That is a warning. Alright, here's where it gets real. UConn versus UCLA. This is the championship game most ESPN analysts are predicting. 13 of 22 ESPN experts picked the Huskies to cut down the nets, with several pointing to this matchup specifically. The question is whether Strong and Fudd can contain a Bruins offense running at 122 points per 100 possessions. UConn's defense says yes, but UCLA's depth and quad 1 experience say, not so fast. UConn versus Texas, this is the matchup I lose sleep over. Texas plays with 7 healthy players at times and still hits buzzer beaters. Rory Harmon, 943 career assists and a game-winning floater against South Carolina with 1 second left, is exactly the kind of point guard who thrives when games get physical and tight in the second half. UConn hasn't been in a close game since November. That Michigan scare, a 3-point win, is the only evidence we have that the Huskies know how to close. Is that enough? UConn versus South Carolina. Yes, UConn beat them 82. 59 in last year's championship, but Paige Bueckers was on the court for that game. She went number 1 overall in the WNBA draft and isn't coming back. Joyce Edwards has emerged this year as a genuine star, nearly 20 points per game on 59% shooting. This South Carolina team is built differently than the one that got demolished in Phoenix. Here's the core tension of this entire tournament. UConn is the most dominant team on paper and the least tested team in practice. Every other #1 seed has been in fights, has been down, has had to respond. UConn hasn't needed to respond, not once, since November. Does that mean they can't? No. Does it mean that we should be asking the question? Absolutely. Here's where I land. UConn wins the championship, but it does not go cleanly. I think Texas pushes them to a final possession somewhere in the Elite 8 or Final 4, and we find out in real time whether this team can handle adversity they've literally never experienced together. Azzi Fudd's last ride narrative is too powerful, Sarah Strong is too good, and Gino Auriemma's 12 championships aren't an accident. But I am not writing off Texas. I am not writing off UCLA. And I will never, ever write off Dawn Staley in March. The first and second round games start March 21st. Those early results will tell us everything, whether UConn's dominance holds against tournament caliber competition, and whether any of the other seeds show cracks before the bracket gets serious. Watch those games closely, because the storyline of this tournament is going to be written in the first 48 hours. Alright, Prime Field, that's the breakdown. Now I need you. Drop your champion in the comments right now before the tournament starts. Lock it in. No edits. I'm going back through after the Final Four and quoting the people who called it. If you want the first and second round reaction videos the second game's end, subscribe and hit the bell. We go live within an hour of every UConn game this March. And vote in the poll who wins the 2026 National Championship. See you on the 21st.
Prime Field.